therapy you can write. Another is the psychological treatment related to some techniques, some stages. For example, the problem is with their thought process. If there is any problem related to the cognition, their understanding, better to change their belief system. For example, ABC is one model. That means ABC model means activated event, belief system, and consequences. Their belief system, their wrong belief system is that they take that type of this, they use one this substance, they think some sort of relief. That is the wrong belief system. So here, depending on the wrong belief system, activated event means taking that is cigarettes or what are the substance, maybe, or alcohol. If you change this belief system, or you can say wrong belief system, negative belief system, false belief system, so that we will stop the activated event. Activated event is using the substance. Okay, so here in this ABC model, belief system, if you alter the belief system, if we change the belief system, activated event means usage of the particular drug can be reduced. So the consequence also will be a positive side. For example, positive belief system and positive activities, consequence also in a positive way. That is ABC model. Then if the negative belief system, or you can say false belief system, so the negative activities will be in the negative side. Activated events are in negative side, negative way. So the consequence also, they need to face the negative consequences. These type of techniques in the psychological treatment. For example, if they use cigarettes, 2 packets of cigarettes per day. So what their belief system, what their false belief system means, what the negatively thinking means, by doing this, by taking the cigarettes, some type of relax, some type of relief in a stressful conditions, stressful environment in the workplace. That is the negative belief system. So basing on this negative belief system, for every 1 hour, or when every 1 hour or half an hour, they will use 1 cigarette, they will smoke 1 cigarette. They'll take 1 cigarette. Okay, so their thought process, they're thinking in a different way, in a negative way. So here their belief system is the negative system. That is the reason their activated event, their activities. If you restructuring the negative belief system into the positive belief system, so the consequence will be positive. If in ABC, B is the belief system, A is the activated event, C is the consequences. If they believe, if the person is in a negative belief system, his activities, his activated events are in a negative side. So that the consequence also, he has to face in the adverse consequences, he or she has to face. So negative consequences we can explain here. So what are the negative consequences by taking 20 cigarettes per day means? First one is financial aspects that we can explain. For example, his capacity of his earning capacity per day is around 500 rupees. So he spent nearly 200 to 300 rupees only on cigarettes, or it may be any alcohol. So per day, his income is 500 rupees. And the expenditure only on this particular substance usage is around 300 rupees. Monthly it comes around 9,000 rupees. Yearly around it is some 1 lakh rupees. 1,08,000 or 1,10,000 rupees. For example, his habit is in some 5 years. So nearly 5 lakhs or 5,50,000, 5,60,000. The person spends only on this cigarettes, smoking, or alcohol. So this is the adverse impact on his financial aspects or adverse consequences. So one is adverse financial consequences. Second is the health consequences. Okay. Third is the family issues. Fourth is the occupational issues. Fifth is the social issues. So this is the way, if we explain the negative consequences, what are the negative consequences he has to face in the future course of time. That means, so in this model of ABC, belief system, with his own belief system, he's doing that activity or activated event of taking or usage of cigarettes or many other alcohol or any other substance. The consequences, these are the various consequences, negative consequences, adverse consequences, financial consequences, family consequences, health consequences, and social issues, occupational issues. So if this is the way, if you show that consequences of adverse, or you can say adverse consequences, so that his thought process, the cognition, whatever they think, that can be restructured. That means cognitive restructuring technique also can. By explaining all this from his end, from his perspective, depending on the severity, depending on his family condition, depending on his age, the person's age, the patient's age, the client age, or his profession. So here, this is also one type of treatment. One is the, as I mentioned, one is treatment related to the medicines. If there is any withdrawal symptoms, as I mentioned, substance-induced symptoms. One is substance use disorder. By substance use disorder, they'll have some sort of disoriented speech. Okay, insomnia, sleeplessness, anxiety, restlessness, frustration, anxiety, then anger, irritability. These are the issues by using some substances. By months together, using of months together or years together, what happens? Substance-induced disorders. Substance-induced disorders means like psychotic symptoms. For example, in some cases, in some hospitals or some cases, they'll use substances like alcohol, any other drugs, but they won't take any food. What happens? Without food, heavy intake of any substance, what happens?
Body becomes weak, sir.
Yeah, once the body becomes weak, slowly the impact will be on the brain system.
Mind
it's a
also.
thought process. So that process, that cognition, as I mentioned, the initial stage of our schizophrenia, cognition and affective and the behavior, or you can say psychomotor, or you can say cognitive. So the cognition will be affected, adversely affected, so that the behavior, their affective, I mean their emotions, their attitudes will be in a different way. So here, by using these substances, heavy usage of or high quantity of this any substance leads some impact on the body first. That means body becomes weak. Next stage, the next level, the weakness of the body slowly affect on the brain, or you can say thought process, cognition. Okay. So automatically what happens? Substance induced disorders. Initially substance use disorders, anger, anxiety, sleeplessness, not taking proper food, and disoriented speech of substance use disorders leads substance induced disorders like psychotic disorders. As I mentioned, hallucination, delusions. Why? Because their thought process is not in the normal way. Abnormal thought process, deteriorated thought process, deteriorated functionings. So these are all the consequences we better to explain in our psychological counseling. As I mentioned, financial consequences, consequence related to their health, consequences related to their thought process, consequence related to their adjustmental issues. So if we explain all these things, all these consequences, so it is nothing but a psychological treatment. Okay. And in some cases, that control, or you can say prevention, after preventing of taking these medicines, or you can say this using of these substances, they will stop for some weeks or some days. Then again, if the same environment, if the same conditions are repeated in their workplace or in their family environment, what happens? Relapse. Got it? So here, relapse prevention also one of the major aspects, the treatment of these cases. Relapse prevention, how to prevent the relapse, repeating the same habit is relapse. So we are supposed to prevent that relapse also. Relapse prevention is one technique we need to use in our psychological counseling. For example, if the person is having habituated of taking alcohol from this wine shop, which is nearby his place, when he is on the way from workplace to the home, that wine shop, he is used to take that alcohol from the wine shop. So in relapse prevention techniques, better to ask the person not to go in the same road. So better to deviate from that particular place. That is one technique in relapse prevention. Second is the habit of taking the cigarettes or alcohol in a particular time. So better to ask if the person to engage in some other activities in so on so time. Okay, that is number 2. Third one is that 10 cigarettes per day, a person is taking 10 cigarettes per day, means, for example, if he take a cigarette at the time of 8 o'clock in the morning, again he is prepared to take the next cigarette at 8 or 9 or 9:30. So ask him to use some other that is dry fruits like that. So keep some sort of dry fruits and any other that is these eatable things, which is not harmful to his health. Or you can say nut powder. This type of techniques in order to reduce the time or intake of the cigarettes or maybe any other substances. These are all various techniques we suggest to the patients in relapse prevention technique, in relapse prevention. So as I mentioned, its treatment part, one is the treatment related to the medicine, number 1. Number 2, treatment related to the caregivers training, social training, assertive training, and the psychological counseling. In psychological counseling, better to explain the various consequences by using that substance. If it is possible, ABC model, otherwise CRT, cognitive restructuring, whatever his negative belief system, better to restructuring that cognitive, or you can say thought process. If there is any false belief systems, negative systems of his thought process, his thinking, so better to restructuring his thought process by using the cognitive restructuring technique. These are all techniques we better to use in our psychological counseling, depending on the age of the person, whether it is substance use disorder or substance induced disorder, and his environment conditions. Keeping all these various factors in our mind, as I mentioned, first of all, we better to find out the cause or the reason of this particular issue. Then, depending on the various factors, we have to give the psychological counseling. Okay? Any doubt?
Sir, may I ask a doubt, sir?
Yeah.
Sir, while telling the reasons for substantial related disorder,
Mhm.
you said that heredity also a reason.
Yeah.
How the heredity will be reason for substance related disorder, sir?
Yes. See, not only substance-related disorders, any psychological issue, not only one substance, maybe any other substance also.
Okay, sir.
Some reasons, not only the particular psychological reasons of this particular substance disorder, any psychological disorder. One factor, genetical reasons, or you can say family issues.
Sir.
For example, in some cultures,
Sir.
in some areas, taking this alcohol or maybe any other drugs, that is their system.
That is a system. That is a culture and system, sir, but heredity.
But in some cases,
you said that
in some cases, genetical reasons like heredity factors, it also plays. Maybe the factor may be minimal thing, but that is also one of the major part in some cases. Also in a generalized manner. Okay. Anything?
Okay, sir. Another doubt is that, sir.
Yeah.
You said the therapy in therapies in mostly in psychological treatment or biological treatment or another also you said the ABC model and relapse techniques also. Is there actually workable to the remove from the habituated intoxicated or drugs person, sir?
Your question is that is it possible to give this type of
possible to this type of
in severity cases, like
intoxicated
more, that is
intoxicated more or drugs addicted person, drugs addicted persons we should what is
yeah, got it. So here see, in any like in schizophrenia as well as any other cases, first of all, if the severity is more, as you mentioned, intoxication, if it is the severity is more, better to use some medicines.
Okay.
That means the severity can be controlled. Then the severity is controlled, then better to use our psychological treatment.
Okay.
Got it?
Okay.
Yes. As you rightly mentioned, in severe cases, it's not so easy to provide.
Okay. You said one example, sir. In relapsing technique, he is going one route. We should divert that route. He will be changed. How can he change that? He will search for another shop, sir. He will not remove that, I think.
No. See, whatever I am suggesting you, practically I applied these all the techniques.
Sir.
Yes. In psychiatric setups, in psychiatric hospitals, patients will be like inpatient patients. After 2 or 3 weeks, initially we can't give all these techniques. After 1 or 2 weeks treatment, after using some medicines, while they discharge from the hospitals, yes, we will suggest these type of suggestions, at least for 1 or 2 weeks.
Okay.
They better to follow this type of techniques. Yes. Yeah,
Were they followed, sir?
yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay. Okay,
Right,
okay.
right. Anything else?
Sir, I think a patient also should be determined to come out of that habit. He should
Exactly,
also
exactly.
come.
Yes, yes. Patients.
Ah.
That's what I'm telling. Caregiver training also important. Caregiver training, not only the patient. Caregiver training. See, when they are discharging from the hospitals, one drug will be suggested. One drug will be advisable per day. One drug, one medicine they are supposed to use. We will explain to the caregivers as well as the patient. If you take this drug, or you can say medicine, even though you are using this medicine, if you take this type of alcohol, any substances, some major health issues they will face. You got it? Hello. So
No,
if
sir. No,
we explain all these dangerous consequences, definitely they will follow whatever the suggestion. At least for some time they will follow.
sir. Yes, sir.
As I mentioned, the same environment, same conditions are repeated. There is a chance of relapse.
Will
But
relapse.
in relapse prevention, these are the suggestions we better to give to the patients as well as the caregivers.
Yes.
The issue is that, sir, they already personally know the consequences of financial issues and the health consequences also. But they are doing like that. They already know what are the consequences of the financial system and consequences based on the family burdens. So they already know all about them, but they are habitually do with addiction.
Yes,
While
yes.
we explaining the consequences of financial systems and health consequences, is they listen all those things, sir?
Yeah,
Are they listen all those things?
definitely they listen. They
Okay,
listen.
okay,
See,
okay, okay, okay,
listen means if you
okay,
explain all these things, they will listen. So better to ask them from their end, from their perspective,
okay, okay,
from their side, from
okay,
their angle. For example, what are the questions we ask? So how much you spend per day? They will tell, sir, I'm spending nearly 4 to 500 per day. What is your earning capacity per day? So this is your earning capacity. So you calculate. So not from my side, from our side. Ask them to calculate.
okay.
In some cases, suddenly they no, this much of amount I spent, sir, for 5 years, nearly 8 lakhs, 10 lakhs amount I spent. So that means you are improving his insight. Suddenly they'll get that type of, what happened to my life? Nearly 8 lakhs or 10 lakhs in this 3 years, 4 years time, I spent only on this particular substance. They'll realize, definitely they'll realize. That is the way we better to give proper way of counseling.
Okay.
Got it? Yeah.
Okay. Okay.